Dave looked over what was left of the citadel. The bodies had been cleaned away, leaving just the battleground behind. Dia squeezed his hand. He looked to her, a sad smile on his face. Both of their eyes were red from tears, and the inner pain they felt. Dave hugged Dia as the tears she'd been holding back broke through. Dave let out tears of his own. Dia had been with Lox's warband for 10 years. They were as close as family, even closer in some ways. They'd faced death together, drank together, and lived through one another. While Dave had only known them for just over half a year, he too had become attached to them. He'd seen Joko, Tunk, and Max's bodies. Joko and Tunk had been killed by black lightning, and then risen again as undead puppets. Max had been killed by the metal-sheathed tentacles as he lived through his worst fears. Dave and Dia pulled apart as their tears slowed. Fuck the gods. Fuck the fucking Affinities Pantheon. What gives them the right to do this? To kill all of these people just to try to get more fucking power? Dia's red eyes seemed to glow a bit more with her words. Dave put his arm around her side as they leaned against each other for support. Dave's mind reeled with pain and tried to understand why the Lords of Dark and Earth would bring this down on the people who served them. It would have been kinder if his mind didn't come up with probable answers. Death magic was in part a melding of dark and earth magic, binding the natural and the unnatural together to raise the dead and pull the life from others. It was a twisted abomination of the two affinities, and took a large amount of power to do it. The cultists by themselves were tossing around enough energy for a dozen Dwarven war clans and their mages. If they had been able to kill us all, and then use our bodies to start their undead army, then the power would have been immense. Every person the cultists killed and brought back would be turned into their minions, which, in turn, would make them minions of the Lords of Dark and Earth. If the lords who gave them this power asked for a larger devotion of power toward them, they wouldn't have hesitated. With the power of their undead, they would have had nations' worth of power that they didn't need. Dave shook his head. On Earth, money had been the currency of power. On Emerilia, power came from your abilities. Materials could augment it, but pure, unrefined mana was the currency of the affinities. Dave shook his head sadly. A group of mages were around the pillars that made up the portals. He wanted to get away from this all. He wanted to just go and explore Emerilia and have his house in Cliff Hill. But you know that this is only the beginning. You remember what Bob said about the Pantheon. They're not the type of people to take this and shrug it off. If I want my friends to survive, then I'm going to have to learn more. I'm going to have to become stronger. My friends gave their lives so that we could bring down this citadel, to protect their people. I might want to just hide in the cedar and play with inventions, to let the world burn itself, but that would just sully their names and their sacrifice. Dave walked toward the pillars, Dia holding his hand. Excuse me, but I was wondering if you could hold off destroying the portal for just a moment, Dave said. Boy, this thing is coming down, one of the elven mages said. It will only take a moment, and it will make sure that even if they put these spikes together, they won't function. Dave looked at the elven earth mage. They looked as though they wanted to argue, but they were too tired to do so. Go for it. He waved at the pillars and then signaled to the other mages to wait. Are you sure about this? Dia let go of his hand. We need to know more about the portals. and this is one of the best ways.